Hey, Jim, is Martha going to need a few minutes?
I think she's here. She should be here. She's downstairs. Let me try to get her.
Okay. No, it's fine. We got time, like if she needs time. Okay, and we begin. And welcome to North of 48 podcast. Our special guests tonight are Jim Earl, Martha Previte. I guess we'll find out the correct spelling and pronunciation of that name later on. We have
who will be in Super tonight?
Cameron and Charity, who are walking on the West Coast now. So we'll be seeing them right away. And let's put this over today. Whoops. Today is November 3rd, 2023. It's a Friday. It means Jim and Martha are in the house, and we're absolutely thrilled, tickled pink. Lexi, can you give us a hooray?
Hooray!
Nothing. Nothing but happiness and joy when Martha and Jim are in the house.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Please welcome award-winning comedy writer.
Thank you. Hi, Wally.
Hi. Here.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Let me give you your intro first before you keep going. There
we have an intro?
You do.
Please welcome award-winning comedy writer Jim Earl and the impressionable impressionist Martha Previte. Please welcome.
So what is it? Is it Previte or Previte, Martha?
It depends who you talk to, Wally. It's Previte.
Previte. Oh.
Well, it's Previte, Previte. Not Previte, anything but Previte.
Well, I'm sorry, that's what Sally calls you, Previte. So
it's Previte.
Sally,
it's Previte on the island of Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let us get you in here.
Don't forget about it.
Okay, I won't. Remove all pinned and put on Jim Earl and Martha. So I am playing with a different software, and that's taken all my time. So my getting prepped for this isn't the greatest, so I apologize right off the bat. But
this is an outrage.
You guys had well, you had a mass shooting. It's the Purge 4 or 5. I forget the sequel in Maine. I'm glad to hear that you guys are okay. They caught the guy. The guy killed himself, but he was on the run for quite a while too. And just a tragedy. And I think the United States is on a mission to break any records for mass shootings and killings in the country. Could be wrong.
Maybe so. We're number one in a lot of things, Wally.
You are number one.
And I know the people up there resent us for it.
Well,
you resent our freedoms.
I resent the fact that you pay so much less for goods than we do. How about that? That I could resent.
Yeah, but they aren't so good.
Why am I paying $5 a gallon for gas, eh? Well, why am I driving gas? Because I can't afford electric, Jim. I can't.
Yes, so you say, but I'd like to see your tax returns. I think we all would like to see. If hands up in the chat room, all three of you, if you'd like to see Wallace's tax returns, because I think there's a lot of things being kept from the public.
There's 6 in there. 3 of them are on twice. I'll have you know. Oh, and there she is. How are you guys feeling today? How are you doing? Either one. Yeah.
Everything's going great.
Yeah. Everything's turning roses.
It's a great country. It's a great world.
Yeah, it is. I don't know where you want to start. There's so much to talk about. Did you hear about our controversy? You know, Buffy St. Marie, right?
But was she in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
No, but she's came up through the 60s, folk singer and rock and roll singer. And she's claimed to be Indigenous. And now some people are saying that she's not, which is, at this point, I don't care, really. I think she's Indigenous myself. At least that's what she's always thought of herself as. So she was adopted, so she might not know if she's Indigenous or not, but she was told at a young age. And now it's come out that she might not be. And she's a Canadian treasure.
I was told that I would make a difference and be successful when I was young.
Well, we have another one in Canada. Whoops, sorry. My bad. We have another one, Mary Ellen LaFond. She was a former judge, and she faces controversy over her claims to Indigenous ancestry as well. So this seems to be a thing. Rachel Dolanez, anybody? You know, so. But these women have done very good for the country and everything. And I think if they rightfully believed they were Indigenous, I don't hold that against them. But we had a couple of kids in Montreal whose mothers said they were Indigenous and they were not, but they won all these awards and scholarships and took money away from Indigenous people as a result. So it seems to be a thing. Everybody wanting to wear somebody else's identity, Jim. You know, as an actor, you know what that's like.
Well, people want to be special. You know, like when you grew up, you wanted to have an English accent or something.
Right.
Because it made you special.
There was a guy in my high school who used to put on one of them kerchiefs around his neck, like something out of the 70s. Ascot, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought, okay, you're going to have a rough life, but no, he did pretty good. So
I used to
doesn't
do
wear the ascot anymore. So
I used to do it because I had one of those tracheotomies.
I'm glad to see it's healed. How many wheels on that tracheotomy?
I don't get that. You say a math joke.
Martha, how are you doing, my dear?
Fine, thanks, Wally. How are you?
Well, we got snow, and then the snow
Wow.
went away, but it's supposed to come back next week. So I'm kind of dreading that.
And every day after that for the next how many
Yes.
months?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
We get freeze dried up here. If you leave Alberta,
Canada,
you look
eh?
6 years younger, is what they say.
Huh.
Get rid of your beer face.
Hmm.
Remember
I'll have to try
remember
that.
the commercial beer? No.
We didn't have that.
Generic beer, and then you puckered up real bad after drinking it. So
Really?
yeah.
You have a lot of alcohol content in your beer, right? All that good Canadian beer.
Yeah, but you guys have come along
We got a lot of microbreweries.
during the beer
Yeah.
strike. During the beer strike, we used to go to Saskatchewan to get beer when Alberta had a beer strike, because all we could get at the liquor store was American beer. Olympic and Miller Low Life and all this 2 and 3% crap. It's just water. It's just urine.
Schmidt beer. You ever try Schmidt beer? The brew.
Yes.
No, not Schlitz. Schmidt beer.
No.
The brew that grew in the Great Northwest. It's a
Yeah.
picture of a stag on it,
Oh, really?
and somebody hunting it. Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably 5% or up, right?
No, that's like 0.001%.
Oh, yes. My friend, the alcoholic, drinks that. Then he got a bright idea. He says, well, if I take a regular beer and then mix it with this low alcohol beer, I'll be able to drink twice as many beers.
It's one way of looking at it.
That's, yeah. Unfortunately, you just had to go to the washroom a lot. He still drank the same amount of beer. So that's too bad. So the shooting, what were your thoughts on it?
Well,
Any thoughts?
I don't have any opinion one way or the other. I don't want to offend anybody. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of pro
Mhm.
shooting people out there, and
With guns.
I don't want to be confrontational, but
You?
Senator Susan Collins of Maine, you know that state. It kind of pokes up into Canada, like something poking into Canada,
The hemorrhoid of Canada,
so to speak,
state of Maine.
or an ingrown state. Anyway, Senator Susan Collins of Maine has something she'd like to say about the.
Does she? I mean, what kind of pull do you guys have to have someone like Susan Collins come on to the show with you? I mean, that's just amazing.
Well, we
Yeah.
have regular sex. That's one thing, but
Mhm.
leave it up to you to get offensive and personal. But anyway, I'd like to introduce Senator Susan. If it's okay, is it possible?
Yes. Oh, there she is. I am.
Oh, Senator Susan Collins of Maine. You are indeed.
Hello.
Welcome to North.
Hello. Am I
the-
plugged in here?
I believe so. You're plugged
Hello.
in, and welcome to north of the North 40. The North 40.
North of 48. Yeah.
North of 48.
That's
And
right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm
Thank
sure.
you.
I'm sure the people of Canada, and North America would be comforted by some of your words regarding the latest shooting.
Shouldn't say late and shooting in the same sentence.
Well, thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Wally. What an honor it is to be here tonight.
Honor's ours.
Well, I'll just begin to let you know that I'm very troubled by the latest highly unfortunate massacre that occurred by an unstable person whose firearm was operated in a very inappropriate manner. Not only did this man use his firearm irresponsibly, he also probably violated the warranty. As you know, 7 caliber 40-round assault rifles with laser scopes are usually handled responsibly by sportsmen and hunters all across our great state of Maine. I'm talking about sensible sportsmen who like to turn deer into plasma marmalade from a distance of 2 miles through their telescope laser sights while reclining in camouflage Barco loungers, drinking Coors Light, and getting hand jobs from their low-functioning friend Jared. I'm also very deeply troubled that gun violence is now a leading cause of death for American children, even higher than COVID. This is deeply disappointing. We simply must get those COVID levels back up where they belong. We owe that to our children. As your fossilized, obscenely rich, pasty-faced senator with Rudy Giuliani jet black hair who's never enjoyed sex, I pledge to raise the infection level through the roof again by making it illegal to mandate masks on trains and in medical buildings. With my help, the Senate just passed Senator J.D. Vance's Freedom to Breathe Act.
Wait, the Freedom to Breathe Act?
Yes, Jimmy, the Freedom to Breathe Act. The Freedom to Breathe Act bans all mask mandates on public transit. Now, bus and train passengers will have the freedom to breathe while their lungs are being ventilated by bullet wounds the size of fists.
Size of the open and concealed carry are legal in Maine without a permit, right?
I'm very concerned that you would bring that up now, Jimmy, of
Yes.
all times, because it's the law here in Maine. I find the implication you're attempting to make deeply disturbing and alarming, not to mention troubling, and I'm concerned about that.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but what are you doing to keep this from happening again, though?
Well, I have taken swift action to introduce a resolution to permanently lower all the flags in Maine to half staff. It's just too much strain on Maine's dedicated public servants to have to raise and lower that big, dirty red, white, and blue flappy thing every few weeks. And I'm not talking about my husband's gangrenous scrotum. It's just too much work.
Yeah.
Our postal workers are getting rope burns on the top of their track marks.
They
You
got
might
track.
ask, yes, rope burns on top of their track marks, I said. You
Yeah.
might ask, with such a horrible record, how do I keep getting reelected election after election? Well, over 29,000 Mainers have Alzheimer's. That's how.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot. Do you have anything to say directly to the families of the loved ones lost in this attack before you leave?
I know that no words can diminish the shock and pain and justifiable anger you feel. So instead, I'll just make noises like a horny parrot.
What would that sound like?
I think Senator College? Senator,
Yes, Jimmy.
I think you might have bottomed out or peeked out the mic there for a moment.
I love you. Are you my sweet? What's out there? What doing? What's that? What's that? Who's out there? Oop, oop.
Well, I hope your
conclusion.
husband leaves bus fare on the dresser. I'll tell you that.
In conclusion, that's the horny parrot. Haven't you ever watched him on Instagram, Wally? Where have you been? Do you live in a mayonnaise jar?
I think you need to go a little further away from the microphone so we could hear fully the parrot.
I have headphones on. I don't have one of those fancy newfangled devices like you have.
Yeah, I live in a snow globe, by the way, not a mayonnaise jar.
What do you think this is? I live in Maine, for crying out loud. In
Says-
conclusion, may I speak?
Sure. I'm sorry.
Thank you. In conclusion, it is my hope that you will find closure and strength in knowing that no matter how many more massacres happen, Congress will never do squat to help you. So you might as well give up. Maine, the way life should be, punctuated by hours of sheer terror and unholy gore.
Oh, thank you very much, Senator Susan Collins of Maine, for
Thank
appearing
you.
on appearing on West of the Mississippi, and tonight with Wally Ford.
There you go. Hey, thank
Good
you very
night,
much,
Wally
Susan.
Ford. Thank
you.
you for having me.
You're more than
It's
welcome.
been an honor.
There's a place for you up here in mayonnaise land. So if you ever get tired of Maine, just move north.
Thank you.
Bring socks and bring hand socks too.
It's a globe full of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
That's the way we.
I love mayonnaise.
Real
Do you have
mayonnaise,
fried
though,
clams
or-
there too, Wally? I can make a mean clam loaf.
We have mussels in the rivers.
Oh, I'd love to see your muscles.
Living in the mayonnaise world.
You love to see your muscles.
Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate it as always.
Would you like to see my big red snapper?
No,
Oh,
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
no.
You
No,
know,
thank you.
Maine has some wonderful fishes in this state. And yeah, Maine red snapper is my favorite.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Her husband's a lucky boy. I'll tell you that.
Tom Collins.
Tom Collins. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody say good night to Susan.
Good night.
Susan. See,
Well,
the
that
audience is not that
was-
alive today. That was different, Jim.
That was
That was a
something.
That was a different Susan Collins. She had more. Is she taking hormone treatments? She had more snaz to her today.
Well, hormone treatments. We don't have hormones up here in Maine. We just have vitamin D deficiency and lead poisoning. That's all you need.
Okay.
That's
Well,
all you need.
that's New York City. New York City. Yeah. Can't even sit in my chair. So the shootings when that happened, was that very close to you guys? Can I ask?
It's about an hour away,
Right.
50 miles or so, but it's not too far because Maine is not a very populous state. And Lewiston, I believe, is the second most populous city, and there are only, oh geez, I think I don't even know how many people. I want to say like 70,000
Okay.
people, not too many people.
So if there was a
Um,
red snapper special, then there would probably be some left if there's only 70,000 people in that town, right?
Mm,
People
Yeah.
love the red snapper.
they love it.
Susan
Yeah.
Collins.
And the red hot
snapper.
dogs too. Yeah.
Great hot dogs.
Yeah.
Clam loaf.
That bowling game that guy went to, apparently that was called a cornhole event.
Hmm. Cornhole is a very popular sport here in Maine.
It's
I
well,
still don't get what a cornhole thing is. Wow.
It doesn't. Well, the reason it's popular, to my estimation, here in Maine is because it takes very, very little physical expense. As
Play the
people
game.
sandbags, little sandbags. No, bean bags. I think, and there's
Bean bags. Yeah. You toss the bean bag in the hole
Yeah, from a distance of
from a
maybe
distance.
a few yards.
We used to call that a beanbag toss.
It's a beanbag toss.
Well, you're a barbarian, all right?
Yeah. Throw that beanbag into the cornhole. I just no, it's wrong. It's just wrong. You know.
So basically, yeah, it's a big sport here. A lot of people like throwing beanbags into these symbolic anuses, and it becomes something of a tradition. I think it was started by the church to take young people off their minds off sex.
Or old people.
You used to call it a priest hole in a
priest
building.
Hole?
Yeah.
Well, sure, I can see that. Can't argue with that.
Right. Well, let's lighten the mood, and you want to talk a little bit about Israel? How do you think things are going? Do you think this is it? Is this World War III? Is this it? Do we have it? They all got the jab and they went nuts, I think. Is what it is.
Yeah, it was the vaccine that did it.
Yeah.
The jab.
That's right.
The jab. Hey, we got our jabs.
We did.
You did you? How do you feel about that? You feel secure? You're proud? You're happy? You're okay?
I feel the nanoparticles are just exploding inside of me.
Wow.
I love it.
Wally,
they should do that as an advertisement.
Wally, I got vaccinated with a phonograph needle, but it didn't affect a lot of you analog people, you digital kids don't know, don't understand analog jokes.
That's true. Well,
we got jabbed last week, and I'm proud of it.
Well, what about Halloween for you guys? Do you guys give out to trick-or-treaters, or you ignore them, or you try not to? You turn the lights off and hide in the basement? But
we didn't have any.
Oh, you didn't?
To my recollection, it's hard to ignore trick-or-treaters when they're screaming in your basement. Okay.
Well, I opened the house in first time in 3 years because of COVID, and I got maybe 30. The guy on the next block got 100, and then another friend got 3,000. So
wow,
I don't understand. My son put a box of candy out and took his kids trick-or-treating in his area, and like they've been doing for COVID, you put the box out and the kids help themselves. He came back and the box was gone, so you thought that was kind of neat,
but the candy was still there.
No, it was all gone.
You Canadians are so simple. I'll take the box.
Yeah.
And leave the candy.
True. I got into a discussion, and I phrased it wrong, but I said, all these kids that came over to my house were nice and polite, and they were all different colors. And then I never finished the last part, because all of a sudden we had this big discussion on racial integrity and stuff. And are you a racist if you say that? But the colors were, they had yellow costumes, they had black costumes, and red costumes. So that was quite neat. That was enjoyable, actually. It was a good discussion.
Children are all like M&Ms.
Well, like somebody under 40 looks at you, Jim, and they go, boomer, you can't trust you, right? Can't friggin' trust you. Boomer Jim. Remember Boomer Jim? I do.
Boomer Bob, that's all I remember. Boomer Jim. Boomer Jim was an asshole. What's Boomer? Is that after 1940? Or
boomers were the ones who got more than what they should have got, is the way I understand it. And then the kids today, they get what you're supposed to get, maybe a little less.
I think it's the complete opposite.
Well, who the problem was K-Tel and Ronco. They made things cheap. And you could buy lots through TV.
See, those are references that are going right over your audience's heads right now.
Yeah.
So Google it.
Going to talk about like Terry Swift, Jonathan Swift. Who? What's her
Who?
name?
Taylor?
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift. Yes, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you didn't come with an answer on Israel. Do you think, are you just watching it from a distance, or you
I
guys
think we've been in World War III for since the end of the World War II. I think.
Did you know there's only what 2 generations of Americans that weren't subject to the draft? I think it's 2, right? Is it 20 years generation?
Well,
Right.
which
And now there's some talk about bringing the draft back.
I think
I
it
don't-
should be brought back. I think
mhm.
people should come face to face with their own deaths if they keep voting for the same fuckers every election and funding murder around the world in our name. I think they should be forced to take part in it.
Well, that the killing America does is righteous. That's what I thought. Isn't
They
it
want to
right?
use guns, they should use them in war. Let them go to war,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's true, but some of your politicians been talking about bringing back the draft, and if it was their kids and the politicians first and the rich people first, and then let it trickle down, I don't think that'd be too much of a problem, right?
Yeah. Any of your ancestors in important wars?
Yes. My Guido, my grandfather, he was part of the Tsar's army back in 1917.
Really?
Yes.
He was a commie? You had a commie grandfather?
No, the Tsar wasn't communist. He was a
I'm
royal.
sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
So is what they would call Menshevik, or a White Russian.
Oh,
And he
wow.
moved over to Belarus, and then into Poland, and brought the family over. So when he seen everybody getting snuffed out by the communists, he decided, well, I guess the Tsar's done, and he left. And he went east. No, he went west. Yeah, west. But he was, yeah. So he was stationed in Siberia, so might as well. It's warmer anywhere else, right? So.
Siberia. It's a
Yeah.
great place.
And then my dad, he was going to go in the Korean War, and the doctor gave him an out. He said, you have flat feet. I can mark you as not physically able to do this. He said, yeah, do that. And that was her.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got lucky.
Flat feet don't keep you out of the Air
Not
Force.
nowadays. I mean, that's racist, keeping anybody with flat feet out of the army now, eh? That's racist. Because white people have flat feet doesn't mean they can't fight, right? I'm sure other nationalities have flat feet too.
If you can play video games, then you can be in the army.
You can be a drone operator for sure. Hey, yes,
Hey.
you can.
Hey.
Yes, you can.
Out,
Sorry, Martha.
out.
Is that parrot has something in its throat, or
That's my Canadian parrot. Get out of the house.
it oot
Out.
ooted a house?
Right?
That's right. So I had one more thing. Oh, free will. Actually, what I wanted to talk about. There was a study that came out about free will, saying that it's actually, you don't have it. It's the pheromones, it's your DNA, it's your genetics that determine the course of action you're going to have. So I was curious what your thoughts were.
Well, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Because my father, back in the late 50s, early 60s, developed the theory called the postulate of the Denver-Earl theory.
To Denver-Earl theory?
Denver, that was his research
Denver.
partner at the University of Michigan and the Claremont Graduate School of Psychology.
Claremont's in Oklahoma, right?
No, it's in Southern California, where I grew up.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
think
I just gave away one of my security questions.
I was thinking of Claremore. Sorry, my bad. Claremore, Oklahoma.
You're thinking about the hair color. Anyway,
Hmm.
the Denver Earl theory concerning the dynamics of that initiate, maintain, and terminate the performance of overt and covert problem-solving behaviors in human beings. Now, postulate 6A specifies a relationship between the overt-covert stimuli and the individual's momentary adaptation level, the fundamental psychoneurophysiological relationship responsible for the initiation and continued maintenance of problem-solving behaviors. You following this?
So far,
More loosely stated,
I'm
postulate
Canadian, eh? So yeah, I'm getting it.
Thank you. More loosely stated, postulate 6A defines the conditions under which a person becomes internally motivated to work on new and increasingly difficult problems with newly encountered novel changes and stimulation, serving as neural provocateurs until all the novelties are exhausted and the problem is either solved or proves unsolvable.
Okay.
Right? Now, 6B states that the condition under which an individual loses interest in working on a particular task, either because the task has been found too difficult or has been completed to her momentary satisfaction, or someone else has already finished the same task, leaving no further challenge, or other competing interests have become more challenging and thus more interesting and attractive to the individual under study.
Wally, are you still following this?
The song that keeps going through my head as you talking about these postulates is despite all my rage, I'm still a rat in a cage. I think that's what you're saying.
Basically, the theory says that we have no free will, and it's based on Newtonian physics.
Right. So that girl who said no to me when I was younger, it wasn't her choice. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was called the process of natural selection.
Jim. Okay. So no, is that your thoughts then, that there is no free will?
Well, again, the Denver Earl theory, which has been cited as a psychology clinical study classic in numerous publications throughout the following decades, states that all behavior is a product of, and decision making is a product of fear avoidance and the seeking of novelty. So where something becomes less stimulating, they go to something more stimulating.
So you're talking about reward and punishment then. That's what we're...
Well, it's survival. Right? I think it's basic instinctive survival.
Instinctive survival.
Yeah, so it's unconscious survival. Of course, there are momentary and there are decision making that we have free will in, but ultimately those are transitory and not meaningful. Meaning that our life is controlled more so by our instincts of fear avoidance and novelty stimulation.
That the Jim Earl theory or the Denver theory?
It's a Denver Earl theory. It's also been backed up by several other parallel studies in other types of sciences. Like for instance, when you look at something, if a doctor, a doctor shouldn't do this, but if they put a what do you call it, a contact lens on you with a scene on it, like just a picture on it,
Yeah,
and,
like
and
hologram.
you have nothing to look at. Your eyes have nothing to see but a
Mhm.
little picture of a mountain or something. No matter
Right.
where you look,
Mhm.
sooner or later that your vision will turn black. You won't be able to see anything anymore because you don't have stimuli to
Oh, really?
activate your cells, your nerve responses or whatever it is. So that's that's what your brain needs constant stimuli in order to function and to create neural pathways.
That is amazing.
Oh,
Thank
shut
you.
up. I
It
don't believe
is.
you for a second.
It is. And comedian turned scientist. I like that very much. Rodrigo has a question, our friend from Mexico. Rodrigo, go ahead, my friend.
Thanks. I've heard those theories before, but I always hit a roadblock because the United States has so many more mass shootings than the rest of the world. There's people in third world countries that live in the middle of war that don't snap and go on mass spree shootings as often as Americans do, and I wonder if Jim can reconcile that. And sorry for my voice.
Reconcile that, Jim. Risk and reward.
I'm offended, first of all, by your voice. Secondly, I don't know why you were sorry about your voice. I really don't understand the question. I don't have any argument with what he's saying, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
You're saying that poorer nations don't have this type of gun violence. Is that what you're saying?
That's because they can't afford the guns. Right?
Jim,
Well,
if I may, he's asking when will they get their opportunity?
Well, we're trying to export our freedoms to other nations, and I think we're doing a good job at it. So look forward to massacres in your neighborhood soon.
USA.
We're number one.
Yeah. That's right. Well, Russia's really trying to follow in your footsteps too. So, and well, the thing with going back to Israel and the Gaza thing was Hamas. I'm trying to correlate this, trying to come up to a decision. Of course, it's been going on all my life. After 60 some years, it's still going on. But so Hamas is part of the Palestinian people, but not necessarily represent all the people there, right?
I wouldn't say even, I would say very few of the people. Right? They didn't vote for him. I mean, the plurality did not vote for Hamas, and the last election was 17 years ago.
Right.
Because only a certain segment of the population could vote, and half the population is underage for voting now, and it's like saying, no, it's just ridiculous.
Right. And then you've got the PLO or the other government in Palestine. They're saying don't judge us by Hamas. And actually, even I think the United States is pushing, well, Joe Biden and his department is pushing Israel not to, or to go to a ceasefire, right?
He's asking. He always
I don't think
asks.
he's pushing. Yeah. He doesn't push anything, but
no. America loves pushing every other country around in the world.
Well, it's not gay if you're pushing. So
ordering them what to do, but they always ask Israel. And, Netanyahu is a reactionary right-wing fascist, and Joe Biden is catering to it. And Joe Biden is a party to war crimes.
Netanyahu doesn't like Biden either.
No, he doesn't respect. I mean, he doesn't respect any president we've had. It's just
right. What do you think the likelihood of a ceasefire is? Do you think we'll get one? It's up in the air.
I don't know. It won't be because America pressured him to cease fire, which we should. We could. Biden could end this tomorrow
Yeah.
by threatening Israel with cutting off funding.
Or,
Yeah.
those nuclear weapons, we're taking them back or something.
Don't be
Well,
anti-Semitic.
That would be
Yeah.
anti-Semitic not to give Israel the weapons, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I heard somebody. Yeah. The whole thing of who was there first too is just pointless.
well,
No.
yes.
It's just like 5,000 years of history there. Just like same thing with Ukraine. Who was there first? Well,
Yeah, who was there first? Well, I'll tell you who it was. It was the Swedes. So
somebody I read somebody on Twitter rationalize it like this for that Israel should own Gaza. He said when Europeans went to America, they didn't find ancient manuscripts of Shakespeare because they were colonizers. Jews in Israel find ancient manuscripts written in Hebrew, the same language they speak today, describing the same rituals they observe because they are indigenous.
mhm.
This is one of the many rationalizations for what's going on now.
Well, I don't think the European Jewish people were indigenous to that area.
No.
They converted years after. Right.
And if you were going to use the same rationalization, you could go back even further. You could say Nautifians in Haifa found ancient stone microliths and grinders used by the early Epipaleolithic Kabarians in Haifa, the same microliths and grinders that Nautifians used in the late Epipaleolithic. So
Right.
that they are the true indigenous.
If you seen my eyes glaze over when you said that, sorry.
That goes back 12 to 15,000 years.
Wow.
That people have been, committing atrocities in that area.
But
Maybe
Jim,
it's not the Holy Land. Maybe
The
it's just
Earth-
a big fucking cemetery.
the Earth is only
Hmm.
6,000 years old, right? So
Mm. I thought it was, well, we're in the year 2023.
of our Lord, yes.
Okay.
These guys are over 11 million years old.
What, the koalas?
The koalas. I think they took 40 million to get to the point that they are now, and then they stopped evolving. They reached perfection for their lifestyle and their environment 11 million years ago, and they haven't really changed since then. They learned how to live and adapt in a arid area and eating only toxic eucalyptus leaves and sleeping all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's true perfection.
Well, it's like you said in your song, Smooth Brain, right? Well, they have smooth brains.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
smooth
we're
brain.
all smooth brain marsupials. We're not problem solvers.
No, you're not. Toxic eucalyptus leaves.
Toxic.
Yes.
It's-
Which I use the oil on my hands. I got a little arthritis, so.
Does it help?
Oh, I thought I could smell
It
something
does, yes.
musky. Mm.
That was a red snapper smell. So,
Harry, where's Susan Collins?
yeah. So koalas, they don't eat only eucalyptus leaves, period, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the
when they're younger, they eat fecal pap.
okay, thank you. So the ones that are in zoos and cages around the world, they have to bring in a supply of eucalyptus leaves for these guys.
Yes, and they're very particular too. They have to be a certain type of eucalyptus leaf, and they have to
Really?
be fresh.
And that
Yeah.
fresh. So they won't eat oatmeal or anything. It's just
Yeah, isn't that right, koala?
I love my leaves.
okay.
How many hours a day do you sleep?
Oh, well, Jim, I sleep about 18 hours a day. And, I nap in between and eat leaves.
So you just eat and sleep all day long.
Yeah, pretty much like you.
And
I do take a poop about every 18 days.
Oh, 18
Oh.
days.
Yeah.
Wow.
you know, your relative,
Well,
the wombat,
eucalyptus is very slow digesting,
18
much
days.
like American foods.
Zing.
So your cousin, the wombat. Can you tell us a few things about wombats?
Yeah, well, the wombat has a reverse pouch, and he has square poop.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's right. He poops square.
Now, why is that?
Well, I don't know. I'm smooth brained.
I read that they have a certain shape colon. That
Oh,
by the
yeah, that
time,
might be it.
Yeah.
It depends on the yeah, how it comes out, I suppose.
yeah, and so it comes out square, and so it doesn't roll anywhere. Why? Why is that?
Oh, you're asking me?
Well, it's your freaking cousin. So that's something to do with survival, right? It means predators know that there's a wombat. Are you all right? Are you falling asleep? I'm sorry, Wally. Koala's taking another nap.
I see that. I see that. But what's this rectangular thing you're saying about a colon? Is that for the wombat?
Yeah, wombats have square poop.
Do they?
They don't roll away, and so it helps other wombats. Keeps other wombats away. They're kind of territorial.
But unless you push it, round poop won't roll away either. So
You haven't seen. Mine does.
why a rectangular colon? We're serious?
Yeah. Well, the way it has a certain type of molding technique. By the time it emerges, it is square.
Well, I guess you could dry it and put it in a
Have
wood
you ever
stove.
frosted a cake, Walter?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like the attachment on the bag of frosting. If you have a
Don't have a
square
rectangular
attachment on there, it's going to come out square.
I get it. I
Star
get it.
shape.
You just it's seriously though
What?
It doesn't make sense that nature would do that.
Well,
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
why does the platypus lay eggs? It's a marsupial, a mammal, and it lays eggs.
Okay.
Why does the quokka, another quokka,
What's a quokka?
another marsupial cousin of the wombat and the koala?
Right. What? Okay.
Why does the quokka have a mysterious smile on his face all the time that's entrancing to people?
Very suspicious.
Inbreeding. That's what I think.
You think it's suspicious? You think the quokka is trying to do
He's
something?
up to something.
Jeez. I got 8 minutes till our next guest. So
Time for a nap.
now I'm talking about this
Yeah,
crap.
watch my TikTok page, by the way.
Yes, your TikTok page.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
I've got a lot of old videos on there that
What is it
me and my
called?
brothers perform. It's called Koala Lafong.
Lafong?
L-A, capital L-A, capital F-O-N-G. Lafong.
Koala
Koala
Lafong.
Lafong.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and
Isn't-
it's making me
Also on Facebook.
it's making me sign into TikTok, you know. Take a look at it.
Yeah.
That's
Or maybe
cool.
if you kept up with the youngsters, you wouldn't have to sign in to TikTok. You would
Yeah, I
have your
also
own.
have a Twitter page too, you know.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, I haven't had time to tweet though. I've been napping, doing a lot of heavy napping lately.
A lot of heavy
And,
napping, you say.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Anybody else got
Anybody have a question?
any questions to Jim and Martha?
I think Rodrigo might.
Is that an old hand,
Hola,
Rodrigo?
Rodrigo. ¿Cómo estás?
I'm kind of frustrated, and maybe
Yes.
Jim is too, that the left is not taking advantage of this time when half the Republicans are apparently pro-Russia and the other half are anti-Russia. And the left doesn't seem to be exploiting this opportunity to
Koala, would you like to take this question?
exploit their fight.
Can you explain the question a little better? I missed the question.
I think Koala could field this question.
Rodrigo, repite, por favor.
The right is fighting with itself over Ukraine and partly over Palestine, and the left is not exploiting this. That's it.
Both parties are fecal pap.
So you're saying they're both crap. They're both
Both parties are crap like fecal pap. They're two sides of the same turd.
So you're saying, as with fecal pap, they are regurgitated and then digested remnants of toxic
Highly
eucalyptus
toxic.
leaves.
Highly toxic, slowly digested. Yes, you're correct.
That answer your question, Rodrigo? Not at all.
Lo
Forrest,
siento, Rodrigo.
Forrest, you have a question, my friend? Forrest.
What's your hair care routine?
Well, you know, I've got bedhead most of the day. Because I sleep all day. But you know, I just, you know, do what I have to do, and sometimes a little eucalyptus oil I find is helpful on humid days.
I think Lexi, you had a question too as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask what you guys think about the Japanese AI revealing that Vladimir has been using body doubles.
Well, we have body doubles here in the United States as well. We've been using them for a long time, such as Melania Trump and Joe Biden.
Ooh.
They both have body doubles too?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
So you don't need the EI, you need or AI, you need koala. KI.
I heard there's also Susan Collins body double as well here in Maine.
That's true. Dave Emmy, you have a question, my friend? You're on the air.
Yeah, I have a question. Do we have free will? Do we have free will? You have to answer the question.
I'm a smooth brain.
You have to
How would
answer
I
the
know?
question. Okay.
And no Denver pile theories either. So, or Denver or
No, it's D as
Deer.
in Dave. It's Denver dash Earl, Robert Earl.
Sounds like
theory.
he was DJ. Was he in the rap?
No,
Sorry.
oh Jesus, they were part of the greatest generation. You're
They
mocking
still are.
now.
They still are, my friend.
No, they're both dead.
Oh,
Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. The
I-
pain of my father's death over
very
10
sorry
years
about
ago.
that. I am.
Yeah.
I am. And Jake, you had a question or not? You decided not to. Jake. Yes, Jake decided. Jake. No questions. For
No, sorry, nothing for me.
Oh, okay. You had your hand up earlier. So enjoyed it. So okay, well, hey, it's 8:30 there, and my guest isn't here, but that's fine. We'll restart the stream after when they show up. And thank you so much, Martha and Jim, for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Wally.
it, as always.
Thank you. It was the highlight of our week.
Oh, well, then you had a boring week, right?
No, we got the jab. We got jabs. We got
did.
jabs.
Yeah.
We're responsible human beings. We care about others and ourselves.
So what kind of job did you get? Did you get the Pfizer, or did you get a different Moderna, or
This time we got Novavax. We got
Novavax? That's
yeah.
a 3-in-1 shot, right?
Well, yeah, it has a little wider range of protection according to the latest clinical research.
Right. Okay.
And it has less side effects. Not that I can, that Moderna was fine as well, but it, just kind of made me feel bad for a day or two afterwards.
Excuse me.
If that's what
This
you're
one I
concerned
found
about.
had less arm pain. Like my arm wasn't really as sore as the
Really?
Moderna and I thought it
Yeah.
was mild.
Because I was looking at the jab, and the thing was, I got the AstraZeneca originally because it had, and I don't think they're offering it now for your booster. So only
That's
one of
hard
the
to
two big
find,
companies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind
well,
you, the governments have threw out a lot of jabs, vaccines, because they went stale dated, right?
Yeah, not enough people. Only like 7% of Americans have gotten the latest booster so far, which is insane, stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's money down the drain too, right?
Money down the drain, and also
In
it's
lives.
kind of
And
pointless. The whole thing makes the whole thing pointless, and endless parade of uncontrollable variants.
Yeah.
That would keep developing over and over and over again. We're
right.
Like 4,000 to 5,000 people are dying every month now.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's yeah. Michelle's daughter had COVID, and we got tested, didn't have COVID, thank God. But it seems to be more. Plus what is it? The RSV, the respiratory.
RSV.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get COVID, you recover from it, you're more likely to get more lung diseases and pneumonia,
cardiovascular diseases, dementia.
Have it turn out what?
Dementia, you say?
Yeah.
Right. Arthritis? Does it give you arthritis?
It can cause inflammation anywhere, I believe, and it can affect it only affects your blood vessels. So if you just think about, well, where do I have blood vessels? That's where it can affect you. So it can affect anywhere in your body.
Causes inflammation.
Frightening.
Causes inflammation everywhere, except where it counts.
Honey, it's not me. It's the RSV. It's the COVID.
Well,
yeah.
RSV, COVID can also cause ED as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then every man in America should go out and get the job.
Yeah, they should.
I agree.
Yeah,
they should.
They should. Well, it's
and wear a mask.
Masks are important. Yes, I've been seeing them popping up lately, so that's very good.
Yeah.
So that's very good.
Yeah. The average size of aerosolized viral particle is 0.7 microns. The N95 mask filters out at 0.3. So wear a mask when you're around other people indoors, you know?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree.
Especially in healthcare, you would think that healthcare providers are wearing masks and they're not. That's frightening because you don't know.
Well, my doctor is,
know.
and he says, "Do you mind wearing a mask?" I say, "Not at all, because you see sick people, so I'm happy to wear one."
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know,
That's good.
right?
But you're Canada. We have
Well,
freedom
no,
here
no,
in
no.
America.
We got the same problems, you know, and I just hope people would start thinking sane again. I don't know what their I don't know. It's not like when we were kids where we were told what to think, right? Right, Jim? Now you have to think on your own, and it's hard work.
It's not really, you know, I don't understand it at all. Everything is laid out right in front of us. Everything is in a silver platter. All the information we need is right there. And what we do is we just go to a fantasy land of conspiracies and paranoia instead.
Fantasy land of conspiracies. Okay, that's pretty good. We will coin that phrase if you don't mind.
I've been getting my news from a koala.
So what I'm going to do now, because I see Cameron's in the here, so the Cameron is here. I'm going to thank you very much, guys, for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Wally.
And we'll have a song from my cousin, and then we'll go right into to talking to Cameron and Charity. Thanks again. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah, everybody say thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good talk.
Thank you.
Carbolic
Thank
acid.
you.
All your strength, I always feel discontent. You're like a godsend, angel who teach me how to love. Now I don't wanna live without love. I don't wanna live without you.
And that was Nana Larson. She has a new album out. Sorry about the sound quality. However, next up on the program is Cameron and Charity. How are you guys? If you
Good.
turn on your camera, I'd appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi. Here we go. Let me bring you in. And it's been very exciting for you guys, but very tiring too as well, right?
We hope it's holy.
How are you? Two of my favorite people. The other two of my favorite people were Jim and Martha we just had on just before you.
Yeah.
And I thank them very much because, you know, these celebrities, they're so hard to get, right? So you guys are a little bit of a celebrity too. I mean, okay, so let's fill in the audience. Your walk is stopped on the East Coast. We talked to you that. You're now traversing the Highway of Tears from Kitimat, is it, or Prince Rupert?
Prince Rupert.
To Prince George. And
Yes.
How are you feeling and where are you right now?
Vanderhoof.
Vanderhoof? You're in Vanderhoof.
Yeah.
Oi, you're not far. You're
No,
not far. The end is in sight.
Today is day 14.
Day 14 today, so.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and like I wanted to get up there and however I have to work, so I couldn't, it didn't go on my weeks off, right? So I apologize because I really wanted to get up there. So I hope well, I've been watching your Facebook page. You're having a lot of local people come out, right?
Yes. So Gary West joined us from as soon as we started the Highway of Tears in Prince Rupert. So that's Cameron's cousin.
Okay.
So it started with 3 of us, and then in Houston we had another runner join on, and she's actually a gold medalist for marathon running. Yeah, she's a local Burns Lake band member. Wendy Brown, she joined us, and then my mom also joined as a second pilot vehicle. So my mom's finally traveling with us.
Wow.
She wanted to come across the country with us, but she ended up working all summer. So yeah.
Okay.
So things worked out for her and Wendy to both join us in Houston.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But you're at Vanderhoof, so you're actually not that far.
100 kilometers.
We got like 95, I think, to Prince George.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
What
So-
an accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah, so what we want to do is make our way past Vednesi somewhere tomorrow.
Vednesi, yeah.
And the following day, we're going to try to make our way, well, we will all make our way both days. We'll just make our way to Bon Voyage at the top of Prince George there. And then we're going to leave that for the following day. And we're going to see if we could gather, like,
whoever wants to come and walk can walk with us from
gather
Bon
as much
Voyage.
people as we can
Wow.
to walk into the city.
Wow. Just incredible. Just incredible. The mileage that you guys have done, the people that you've seen. And now coming.
Oh, there's Gary.
Gary's here.
Gary is here. Yay, Gary. Hey,
Hello.
Gary, how are you? How you doing, bud?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you for walking, actually. How's the feet? How's the feet holding up?
It's sore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Wendy have been doing, they've been smashing the kilometers for us like crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they both run the whole time.
And how are your guys' feet? Are you sore?
Feet are sore.
Mine
Yeah,
look
right.
like little pieces of bannock. Fat.
Bannock feet.
Yeah. Coca made the bannock so hard I made moccasins. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the plan for Prince George. Hopefully it all works out. But if it doesn't, then we've done it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Is there some more news interest?
Yes,
Come
there's
your way?
definitely been media attention our way, but because when we got back, there was well, we like, BC Highway of Tears, missing people.
Mm-hmm.
So right when we got back, there was, excuse me, there was a young lady that had gone missing from Sycas First Nation. So in Vanderhoof here, they actually had a press release for her today, but she went missing on October 11th. So we're whatever media they have for her. That's whenever we helped with the ground search too in Prince George, because they extended the search as far as Prince George as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and today was a huge press release. Cameron went live on it today, and it's just
something very sad that just what us as an Indigenous face. I just got a message from a lady that did her interview in Terrace with us.
Right.
She got a message saying that she was crying watching the press release of the missing Indigenous people. And then there's a young man, he went missing in February. His name is Jay Raphael. And Chelsea Huron, Kwa Huron, went missing on the 11th of October. And this elderly man in Surrey went missing 12 hours ago, and then he's already got media coverage like for himself. Like this is what we've been dealing with like this whole time. Is like there's no media coverage, and they're like they have you to wait 2 or 3 days before they even.
Which isn't true. That's not true.
No.
So I seen somebody post if they could. There's a link for that press release. I'm just looking for it right now. But if you do go on to Gretch,
it's just like licking
our dog. If you do go on to Facebook, there's this, I don't know if you could see that very well, but Sycas First Nations webpage. The press release will be on there, and we'll also share it to the MMIP page just to make it easier for people to find.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's on there, and it's it's
Richard.
Is that Madison Scott then?
This is where Madison Scott's from, is from Prince George, or from Vanderhoof, sorry.
Right.
Wait, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, Madison Scott was here, and she was found back in May, I think.
Was it May?
Yeah, I think it was back in May. On her missing anniversary, they found her to the day.
Yeah, 12 years to the day they found her body.
They found her body.
Yeah.
Do you know what the result was? Was she?
You haven't really heard much news about it since then. I think there is investigations going on, is what's happening.
Son of a. Well, that's what you're facing here, because a guy from Surrey or whatever goes missing, they have the police and they have the media attention. Oh, he's an old guy. He's probably got Alzheimer's or something. We better go find him. Yet a person of Indigenous background goes missing, and you need 2 or 3 days, and then you fill out a report, and then they get onto it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're facing?
Yeah, it's consistent, and there's even places that's been consistently what we've seen as we cross the country, is that the Indigenous people are not getting the reports filed, they're not getting taken seriously. When they do report violence against them or somebody trying to take them, they're not getting taken seriously. Like they just kind of brush off those occurrences, and then you see these high rates of missing and murdered, and the investigations are not adequate enough. So the press release is available. We shared it to our page, and it's on the Carrier Secani Family Services page as well.
Okay.
So this is what happened when we got back from our walk in Prince George. CKPG actually got a hold of us, and they wanted to do a piece on us leaving the house and like getting ready to make our way to Prince Rupert. And the night before, there was like just a plead for like media attention, and the family wasn't getting nothing. So I messaged the guy in the morning, and I let him know. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be helping search for Chelsea. So You could meet us down there if you want to talk to us. So that's what they did. Like they did actually change it, but it's stuff like that when there's a story there, they don't like.
Yeah, and if you look at the press release too, you could even hear some of our leaders in these organizations talking about how they were contacting the press that they knew and asking them, it's been 3 days, it's been 5 days, it's been 10 days. Like, why is there no stories out about this young woman that's missing? Yeah, so they were actively doing the same thing. Like, they couldn't understand that as well. Like, the media is really failing us here.
And that was for missing members. I think I found the link here.
Oh, you found it? Yeah, so I just shared it a few times, and
excellent.
Yeah, there was a beautiful drum out at the end of it all. But it's pretty concerning for the community here because this is their second young person that has gone missing and within this year.
I'll put a link to this in the show notes. And I mean, this is something that since the 50s, the 40s, this keeps happening. Like
Yeah, but it's gotten worse now because even like I remember my mom and my dad's origin story, if you would, from when like my dad fell in love. He seen her hitchhiking.
Okay.
Yeah, he seen her hitchhiking and he made his brother pull over and go back
and get her.
Oh yeah, and then that's. Yeah,
is that how you get a wife in BC?
Yeah, it's not so. That one's not so funny these days, though. Just because,
no, it is not actually.
Nope, it's not. Yeah, no, like there's all these recommendations. Like one of the recommendations from the Highway of Tears, whatever they call it, whether it's inquiry, I think, I'm not too sure. Whatever name they have for it, but one of the recommendations that came out of that was to have cell phone coverage and reliable transportation and things like that all along there. And if anybody's been following our lives, our Cameron's TikTok live, you'll find that there's a lot of places with really poor cell reception.
Even going from Edmonton to Prince George, once you hit McBride down, there's cell phone is spotty.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's true. Are the RCMP or the powers that be, are they just?
I did not see no RCMP at that press release at all today.
No,
not one of them. Did you see RCMP there? Yeah, I haven't seen them there.
All right, we
should think there would be something they would want to support, but
you would think so. We'll have to call Justin and ask him about that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
sorry, it's my dog. I say Justin's name and my dog starts to bark for some reason.
Growl at you.
Yeah, no, and even as we've done the Highway of Tears here, we just countless stories, right?
Right.
And we're very fortunate in BC here that we have so many strong advocates because we're not the first people that have been advocating it along the Highway of Tears, right? Like one of the things that we wanted to do when we crossed the country is like I needed to see for myself what's going on across this country. Like is it this bad for every First Nation as we cross the province and across the country? And yeah.
And what is your deduction on that?
It is that yes, it is. It's all the same. Some people are just not getting included in these statistics, and even here in BC, a lot of them are not getting included in the statistics when they go missing or they're murdered. So the statistics are something that we can't really rely on to begin with.
Right.
And the other thing is just the one consistency that we've seen across the board across the country is the lack of police investigation and the lack of media coverage. Those are two consistencies we have seen. And then the other thing is, how do I put this?
Well, I would say the lack of people watching North of 48, and they would have known about this.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's the one. But yeah, no, there's a ton of those, and just I don't know, one thing that this SWAC has definitely done is just I don't have much faith in the police at all.
So it's
like not when it comes to looking for our men and women, not at all. And just like it's really I don't know.
It was my understanding with the Reconciliation Committee and with the from Harper to Trudeau that the government was really, really going to take the matter serious and make sure that all the police enforcement was on the job. It doesn't appear to be. I mean,
no, it's not.
No matter what government's there.
No, and that's where I'm at the point where I'm just like, why are we even relying on a government that wanted to kill us in the first place? They wanted to annihilate us. Like I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I don't understand why we even depend on them to say what they're going to do, because all they've done historically is continuously break treaties, and they've never followed through on any of their words. So that's kind of like, I kind of lost all faith in them. That's the one thing that has happened during this walk. But I have so much pride and so much, like, I see so much for our populations as we move away from depending on them altogether. Like, I think that is where it is that we
getting more autonomous, you mean, and more resources for your own nations.
I think the thing is that we just we rely on our sovereignty, and we go back to the way things were. Focus on that more. Like, I feel like because between our Indigenous communities, our Indigenous people, and our allies, that alone, like, if we can, I don't know, like, I've lost faith in the policymakers.
You become jaded.
I have become jaded after crossing this country and seeing the same thing over and over again. I just don't have no faith in them. I don't see their value anymore.
Up to the government to do.
Yeah, no, it's just like, why are we going to rely on somebody that?
Well, you just wait another 30 years. You think you're jaded now. Let us actually hope that that things get better that way. I
really hope so. I hope people, I hope they start to prove me wrong. I would love that. That would be the most beautiful thing ever. As if I start to see initiatives happening and there's follow through, and I start to see these calls to justice, the calls to action, the recommendations for the highway of tears actually being completed. Like, I would really love to be proved wrong, but at this point, I'm just, I don't see it. And I know that there's so many strong, powerful advocates that we had working on all these things for so long. And that's the fact that hasn't happened yet. It's just I can't imagine how they feel when they sat at all these big tables for so many years getting all these things together, and they're here over a decade later still wondering why it's not done.
I hear you. And you've been to every province, and you've had a chance to reach out with other Indigenous tribes and stuff. And like you said, the story seems to be the same in every province, right?
It is.
So is there? So is there much talk between the Indigenous bands and stuff about what's happening? You know what I mean? Like a network.
There are some networks out there, and like I said, Cameron and I don't sit at any big tables. We just got up and went one day, right? So there's a lot of networks that are in place already. So it was really cool to link up to some of them along the way, but for the most part, we're winging it the whole time, and people would let us in, and most of the time when we met people, we had no idea who they were, whether they were involved, whether they're involved in stuff or not. We literally just got up and left, and and made
I mean, that's quite the travel that you've done, and the knowledge learning is actually what you were out for, right?
And just the awareness spreading as well, trying to engage our non-Indigenous members here, non-Indigenous population of Canada. Right.
So in a sense, your walk will never end, to be honest, right? You went walking on this for and getting attention to it, but even at the end, once you're in Prince George, the walk is still there. The walk for the rights, for privilege of being treated like any other nation in this country. is what you're after. Do you have is it too soon? Do you have plans on what you want to do? Are you going to put together your stories at all, maybe?
We've been asked so many times if there's a book coming. We don't know.
I don't know. I feel like some things are supposed to be oral history and they're supposed to be passed that way. And that's where I have a hard time when people tell me to write a book, because it's there's a reason why we have an oral history as well, right?
Well, that's true, but also the people who don't have an oral history need to know this too. So perhaps a book would help.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
You know, it's to open the eyes of everybody, and oral history is great, and but
there's only a certain amount of people that could.
A lot of people in this country don't hear. Right, so it's a thought. I don't know, but you sure got some stories, that's for sure. Is there one that really comes to mind through your walk that leaves a powerful, or all?
Okay, the latest one for myself,
yes please,
is when we got back to Botswana and Saint Marie, we were there and we were talking with the firekeeper. And the very last day that we were there, he's like, "Oh, we got you to do one more thing for us." And he's like talking about his relative Emerson Baugh. He's a master carver, and he'd been an advocate for the missing and murdered Indigenous women over there. So he has these grandfathers stacked on top of each other in the color of the medicine wheel. So grandfathers they're stones, right? So so he has them stacked there, and Mishomis was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to grab Emerson's grandfathers and take them with you back to BC." And Emerson and Mishomis went into a sweat, right?
I'm not too sure. They went into ceremony, I think.
They went into a ceremony, and he came out of that a vision to walk the highway of tears for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. Ooh. And in his vision, he'd grab a few people, go fan out, and just walk the highway. And he wanted to bring closure to at least one family. So when we got to Michimacotton, we texted the chief, phoned the chief. We were trying to get a hold of her before we drove through, because we were only going past once, right? And it won't be for a while before we go through again. And we didn't want to disappoint Mishomis Cliff. So he gave us guidance on taking these grandfathers and putting them in our truck. So we did what he said and made our way back home. So when we got to, I think we were in Saskatchewan at the time, and the chief of Michimacotton messaged us back. She's like, "Oh, that would have been a great thing," because we messaged her trying to say we want to take these, and she got back to us. "Oh, it would have been nice if you guys took those stones." And she's like, "We're like, we actually did." and then we made our way to Prince Rupert, and on our way to Prince Rupert, the day before, we've been getting messages on the Facebook page. They're like, "Oh, do you know there's a MMIW totem pole being they're going to raise one in Prince Rupert?"
Oh, wow. So
we got there. We talked to the firekeeper there and the elder that was present at the time as well. And we told them the story of Emerson.
The coordinator.
And the coordinator as well. So we told them the story, and now those stones are right beside that totem pole.
Yeah, all the way from an Ojibwe elder in the middle, oh, in the middle of Ontario to the West Coast.
What a great story.
Yeah, that's the one that really sticks out for myself.
That's right. How's the truck? You put a lot of miles on it.
Was fluttering a couple of times after Burns Lake. I looked at it. We did over 30,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we left at 304. I think in Burns Lake, I looked at it. It was like 334,000. So yeah, I would put 30,000 on it.
All right. Yeah, that's something else. And you guys, how are you feeling, Charity? How are you feeling?
Tired. My legs hurt. Yeah. But we're so close to being done now. And when I think about what we're gonna do next, I'm just like, oh, probably sleep for a bit. No kidding, sleep for a couple of days. Yeah, but I just want to go back to work. I can't wait to go back to work.
Well, this has been an amazing journey, and thank you so much for letting us in on it too.
Yeah, sorry it took so hard to connect with you. It's just we never knew what was coming when we went to the next community, right?
Yeah, so no, I'm glad that people took you to go to ceremonies or to talk to you and stuff. I think
so when you wanted to do the podcast, that's when we got to Prince Rupert, and and that's when we were talking with the elder about the stones of the grandfathers.
Okay, yeah, that's very important. No, hey, I'm just really interested in your story. I have personal affinity to it, and I think a lot of other people do too.
You were our very first interview.
Well, thank you very much. Just an amateur, just a schmuck with a laptop.
Yeah, no, we're just two legs and a heartbeat as well. So.
Right. So after you rest a little bit, I need you to go up to the North Pole, and we'll talk as you walk up to the North Pole. But there's if I could get you back on one more time after you're done in Prince George and you had a couple of days to relax, maybe we could talk about some more of your stories.
Yeah, that would be great.
What I'm hoping for is you get a lot of people out in Prince George. So we're
hoping so too.
Yes.
We really want to see that stand of solidarity with everybody. I think that would be beautiful. And I want somebody to give me my faith back in our systems that we have here, because that was really damaged as we cross the country.
Yeah.
I swear I did not see that one coming. I did not expect to lose all faith in the policymakers and the law enforcement across the country. But that's we didn't have a bad experience with any law enforcement.
No.
But the fact that this is consistently happening is just it made me lose faith in them. And I want to see that brought back. I think the only place we had some really we didn't really have any bad experiences with law enforcement at all.
Nova Scotia, when they were concerned about us, that's about it.
Yeah. I don't think they really knew what to expect. But other than that, we've had really positive experiences with law enforcement as we cross the country. They've all been very positive, but there's still the fact that the families that are losing these people,
right?
Like my family, for instance, we're still not getting the investigations, and the media still not getting the coverage. So I want my faith renewed in that. So I'm hoping that the next time we talk, I'll get a little bit of renewed faith in that, because I really would like them to.
I would like that for you too, as well. And for me too, as well, because I thought we're better than that as a society.
Yeah, that was an unanticipated outcome, although there's always been that talk, but I just didn't really think it would make me feel this. Yeah.
Well, I know, still long life life ahead. So hopefully things will raise your spirits and you don't turn bitter. And that would be good. Always
Don't be bitter and old.
Don't be bitter and old. No,
Like
no.
this coffee.
No, it's sweet and old.
Sweet and old. Wow,
Sweet
that's,
and old.
that's what the grandkids call me. Sweet and old. Well, thank you so much. It's been an incredible journey. I don't know if anybody in the audience have some questions for Cameron and Charity at this time. That would be cool. Oh, you lazy guys. They're just awesome. Every time after we do an interview, all of a sudden they start talking about your experience instead of now, talking about it now. But,
I get something. So my name's Lexi. Hi guys. Nice to
Hi.
see you. My son is enrolled Makah. I don't know if you've heard of that tribe. It's in Nia Bay in Washington State. And hearing your guys' story every week as you make your journey across Canada has been really tough, especially when I have such a young 8-year-old son who is, First Nations, and the fear that you have raising, a child that faces such racism and discrimination, and knowing how to bring them up in a way where they don't become bitter and they don't learn how to hate white people, for lack of a better word, has been really hard for me, because I want to teach him the truth, but at the same time I don't want to plant seeds of hatred. So if you have any advice for me about that, I'd really appreciate it.
So my grandfather, my mom's dad, is a Frenchman. He's Acadian. So I have that blood in me as well. And there is it's important to teach them the truth, but understand that, how would you put it? Like, that we can't live in our past. That's the one thing. There's definitely that, we cannot live in our past. We cannot keep playing that sad story. It's we need to deal with it. We need to heal from it. And there's no reason to hate anybody. The only way we're going to get through this is if we start conducting ourselves in love. That's all we did. We walked in prayer, we walked in love every day. And even when sometimes some of the stories we hear are very uncomfortable and they're very hard to hear, because they're very traumatic things that some people have gone through.
Yes.
But it's important to give people that space to let them speak and let them be heard, because that's important. It's very important for people to speak and be heard. And even as I know my husband I could speak for him a bit on this one, because he doesn't speak about it. When he's having a hard time, he doesn't speak about it. And it's I've had to learn when to just stop and just ask him what's going on, and he still doesn't want to speak about it, because that's how our men are raised, right? They're raised to be the one there, our pillar, whereas we're here and we're supporting and everything. And we've been able to switch that role back and forth, where he supports me when I just need to be still and be quiet for a bit. And then he's just being able to understand that everybody needs a safe space to speak about these things. And that moving forward and healing is part of when you're able to talk about these traumas and not when you talk about something that really hurts your heart, you usually cry. Or when you talk about something that really makes you angry, you'll start swearing about it. The more you're able to talk about it and not have those emotional reactions and share it. And a lot of times when you're telling that story, that's when you find a lesson, I don't know how to explain it. You'll find something in there, and it's about you. I notice the more I tell some stories, I'll learn a bit more about myself. But it's just really important to give people that space to understand and to to be able to speak in a safe space. I don't know if that really answered your question very well or not. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. You raised the son, you guys. And did you have those conversations with your son?
Yes. Sometimes he would get mad about it. And how about you?
Yeah, the same thing. Just feel
That's the pit room in this.
Oh,
And the one downstairs where Gary was is the other pit room, so we're switching rooms.
oh.
What?
yeah, my son would just be quiet. He'd get very quiet.
Yeah,
I think we both have the same attributes.
I think the main thing for me when I was raising my son was just like, it's okay to get mad about stuff. It's okay to scream and shout about it, but that's where you leave it. You know what I mean? Like, that's, how do you say that? Like, there's a time to take a stand and there's a time to just express your feelings, and then you got to move on. You got to like get it out and leave it there and then move on. But there are certain things that where you do have to stand up, and you have to, like, us doing this walk, that's kind of a stand, but it was a lot about learning. It's a lot about healing, learning, spreading awareness, and just also dealing with the things that we went through, when it comes to everything. Like,
well, I wonder, as an Indigenous mother, whether you have more fears because of the people missing around you, right, that are Indigenous.
One thing that I've noticed that, and it was done so much that I never even recognized it until I was talking about it one day. And that's, like I said, you talk about things, you learn a lesson about yourself, about your family. And one of the things for me was I learned that all of my family has always raised their women a lot more stronger and a lot more outspoken and a lot more upfront, like very blunt, right? And our men are raised, the boys in their family are raised to be they're a lot more relaxed and chilled and laid back.
Yeah, men are important.
Yeah, no, but it's another survival tactic, right?
True.
If I'm a woman and I'm more relaxed and if I'm more passive and I don't speak up for myself, I'm going to be a target. Whereas if it's the men do all those things I just said, they'll be targeted because they'll be a troublemaker,
Yes.
But if I'm a woman sitting there and she's quiet and, she doesn't stand up for herself when people are, making her feel uncomfortable, then they're going to be like, oh, like there's an easy target.
That's right.
So yeah, that's some of the things. But I think the main thing it comes down to is it really starts in our households. That starts in being able to witness healthy relationships, and being able to understand healthy boundaries and set healthy boundaries, and being able to have that
peripheral vision.
Not really, like it's just when you walk into a place where it's where you got to be a bit more cautious.
Sure. Work.
Yeah, so just you understand those kind of things. And there's some really great things that come with.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because as part of through the Indigenous nations, I mean, with the taking the kids away from the school, and the grandmothers and the mothers, they let the kids go because they thought the government could be relied on to be truthful. And then we found out that what happened to those kids in the residential schools and stuff. But then you have a bunch of people who came from the residential schools who didn't fit quite into, well, I'll say white society or European society and the Indigenous society. They had a problem communicating either way. And then for it to finally, hopefully, get to the point where, where families stick together. And I wonder if you, it comes down to if somebody's missing, whether there's stronger danger warnings about it in an Indigenous family now compared to another family that doesn't have all these stuff happen to them.
It's hard to.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because if somebody goes missing, we're all, don't care what color or nationality, we're all worried about that. But well, good on you guys for the way you're raising.
Yeah. So
stuff.
So when we were talking the other day, it came down to like, the government has to help us, the police have to help us, and
that's
not it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like I said, I don't understand why we would rely on somebody that was, or an organization that was actually spent so much time, effort, energy, policy, and stuff to assimilate the whole nation and to pretty much wipe us out, right?
Right.
I don't understand. Like, if they spent the funds that they did on residential school into combating these issues, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to want a diverse society, so the things that the Indigenous culture brings to us enriches society, and hopefully the European bad stuff we drop. But I want to think of us as one people, right? And that's tough to do when the government treats people differently. Sorry, I'm splitting hairs here, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We all bleed red.
I hear you. Well, you know what, guys? Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we talk one more time.
Yeah.
And you're in Vanderhoof, so you're on your way to Prince George. So it's not far away. A couple of days you're there. And good on you. That's quite the accomplishment. Oh, sorry. We have Jake. Jake has a question. Go ahead, Jake.
Where's the chat?
I guess wanted to say thanks to you guys, in case I don't see you guys next week or whatever. Because like just talking about what we're talking about, how to raise our kids and stuff like that. I was just talking about this with my daughter last week, and which I didn't know anything about it, but for you guys, I wouldn't have known. So like these kind of campaigns, I think are important. But yes, I didn't know anything about it, and of course she didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what the Highway of Tears was or anything like that. And yeah, it's a weird question reconciling that, history that's part of, Canada and the US. But it's, it's important not to like whitewash the past. So I mean, I try to do that with her, with all my kids as much as I can. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's all. So yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this, and yeah, it's important because hopefully that now that my kids are aware of this, hopefully it's something they will look more into, and it's something they'll mention to other people, and etc. And that history is part of our consciousness. I think is important, in every country, because we all have that kind of nasty shit. So yeah, that's all. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, so you guys are going to get some good rest. You're in a hotel tonight.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of support with back home here. It's been absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I'd imagine. And thank you so much for
no back of the truck sleeping.
We haven't slept in our truck once.
Whoa. Well, there's a bear problem right now, right? So, well, maybe they're sleeping. Well, they're close to sleeping. But I know Prince George had a lot of bears in the city in themselves. So.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, that's
even what that's every year.
That's every year. black bears, grizzlies, you name it. But well, you know what? Thank you so much. Thank you very much for what you did and what you do. And it's a great story. And I hope some of the media attention that you got triggers somebody else, right, to think about this. And one at a time, I guess. You'll change society yet. I think so.
Oh, you will, babe.
Yeah, you will. Did you say Prime Minister Charity? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank everybody else for paying attention to our little podcast. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, thank you guys.